What makes a transformation good? I ask this because I feel like Dragon Ball has somewhat lost its way in this regard. Because the most recent Dragon Ball show, Dragon Ball Daima, included the long-awaited return of Super Saiyan 4, which for the most part, even among people who dislike GT agree it was a franchise high point. If someone tells you they don't like Super Saiyan 4, they're probably just a rage baiter. But if that's the case, why does Daima not get the same praise? Some might say it looks worse, and while I would personally somewhat agree, to me, it's really not much different. Fundamentally, Daima just reuses the excellent design from GT. So, I don't think that's really the main factor here. I think a far more accurate assessment is that a transformation is a lot more than its appearance and flashy animation. A transformation, first and foremost, should truly mean something. It should not only be a transformation in form, but it should literally transform the plot of the story. The first time Goku went Super Saiyan, it caused a massive shift in the story. No longer were we focused on our gang barely managing to survive against Frieza. Instead, we're focused on escaping the planet while Goku takes care of business. It truly had impact on the plot. Even the least plot-relevant Super Saiyan form was still a necessary inclusion. We already established that Super Saiyan 2 was nothing to Majin Buu, so for Goku to be at all relevant in the story after that, he needed a major power boost. The issue with Daima's version of Super Saiyan 4 is it's a transformation in appearance only. It ultimately has very little effect on the plot of Daima as a whole. So little, in fact, that it could just not have happened, and the plot of Daima would be virtually unchanged. And I'll explain this in more detail. But to really get my point across, I think it's better if I compared the two Super Saiyan 4 forms side by side. Before we get into the video proper, I just wanted to point this out because it's funny. Very few people realize Super Saiyan 4 was always supposed to be huge. We don't get a lot of great size comparisons, because all of Super Saiyan 4's opponents are also huge. But anytime Goku stands next to our other characters, we see Super Saiyan 4 is massive, which is a detail a lot of video games end up not adapting for some reason. Alternatively, we actually see Daima Super Saiyan 4 de-transform, and he's essentially the same size as base, meaning despite what the internet and video games might tell you, Super Saiyan 4 is supposed to be massive, and the Daima variant is the same size as Goku's base form. So to start out our comparison, let's talk about Buildup. In both stories, Goku is turned into a child, which is the impetus that kicks off both plots. With our gang going out to search for the Dragon Balls, that journey eventually leads to GT Goku facing off with Baby, and Daima Goku to Goma. In GT, Goku has several encounters with Baby, from the first one where our gang catches him early in his development, nearly taking him out, to his second appearance where he started amassing power, going on to take the entire population of Earth as his personal battery. And beyond that, Baby has a lot of personal history with the Saiyans, being the last remnant of the Tuffle race, a species the Saiyans drove to extinction. Finally, after all of his work amassing power, he finally gets the leg up on Son Goku, becoming so powerful that even Super Saiyan 3 is no match for Baby's first form, which causes Goku to be rescued seconds before death. And while Baby continues his plan to take over the universe, Goku goes off to train, with the Elder Kai seemingly knowing more about Saiyan history than he lets on, helping Goku regrow his tail before he rejoins the fight. During that fight, Goku is still no match, but that's when the Earth and the sky acts as a moon for Goku, granting him never-before-seen power. This is symbolic in several ways. Goku goes into the Great Ape form, which is the form most representative of the Savage Saiyans Baby is sworn to destroy. But Goku taps into the form not from the moon, but from the very planet he grew up on, the same planet that nurtured him to be good, instead of the savage monster Baby sees him as. However, for a bit here, Goku does embody that monster, going on a rampage. But after being reminded of his friends and family, the things that make him human rather than Saiyan, that's when he gains full control of himself, and ascends even further into the culmination of both the warrior with a pure of heart awakened by rage, and the savage power of the Saiyans. So how does Daima build up to Super Saiyan 4? Well, it doesn't. Daima in no way foreshadows any kind of development for Goku. Instead, it gives the development to Neva, the ancient Namekian, who generally desires not to impose his will on the world. But due to seeing the cruelty Goma imposes on others, he chooses to help our gang, and after Goku eventually loses to Goma, Neva decides to grant Goku a power boost to keep fighting, causing Goku to evolve further. A general issue I have with this is despite the fact Super Saiyan 4 is clearly an evolution on the Saiyan Great Ape form, Daima has no imagery relating the form to the previous. To a strange degree, it feels like they went out of their way not to reference it. Like, when Goku does his big Kamehameha, and we get this flash of Goku's face, it feels like it was the easiest choice in the world to make that a great ape instead of his normal face. Making connections to the previous plot points only strengthens your story. Why not take the free win? You can't act like this isn't related to the great ape. Look at it. Additionally, something I noticed while editing. If you look at the transformation sequences for both, you'll notice Daima's transformation has a lot of water droplet effects. This is seemingly a reference to the original transformation, as right before Goku took on the form, a water droplet fell. This, however, isn't just any water droplet. It's seemingly a tear, referencing both Goku's love for Earth and his granddaughter Pan, whose tears are what finally sparked his transformation in the first place. This is a perfect micro-example of my entire problem. GT's transformation is full of meaningful metaphors, while Daima's form just looks pretty and references GT. If you've made it this far into the video, please consider subscribing, as every new sub I get takes me one step closer to my own next big transformation. Now that we've gone over the build-up, how do the forms actually perform? Well, after the brutal beatdown Goku received, he finally gets to return some of that beating back on his opponent, and it's very satisfying. It's undeniable that seeing Baby finally have the tables turn on him is very satisfying. We've been watching him dominate for a while now, and he's such a smug jerk about it, while Goma only just showed up a moment ago, after being portrayed as weak the entire show. But even more so than that, Daima Super Saiyan 4 doesn't really even turn the tables here. He has some cool looking scenes here, but ultimately, Goma's infinite plot armor magic eye just scales him above Goku again, and he takes back over, while the original definitively wrecked Baby's shit, forcing him to become everything he stood to destroy, becoming a great ape himself to contest Goku. But despite that, Goku is still able to compete even after Baby's further evolution, causing them to go back and forth for a while. In Daima though, as Goku is being defeated, another entirely separate event goes on with Glorio betraying a Rinsu to restore Goku's original form. Once again, Goku is entirely detached from the main plot, just being there to punch stuff while the new characters handle any of the actual storytelling. Anyways, due to that, Goku's body is restored, which solves the main problem we had at the start of the arc. But, once again, this has nothing to do with Goku's transformation. You know what did? GT. In GT, Super Saiyan 4 itself is the solution to Goku's child wish problem. Not only was it all of the things I mentioned earlier, but it also restored his adult body. In Daima, after being restored, Vegeta wants to take over, and this brings up our next issue. Super Saiyan Vegeta is seemingly stronger than Kid Super Saiyan 4 Goku. This just sucks. It devalues the form so much that apparently despite being an evolution level stronger, he's still weaker. It just feels bad. As much as power scaling multipliers don't determine how good a story is, it just gives me this overwhelming vibe of mid, that Super Saiyan 4 is seemingly not much stronger than Super Saiyan 3. On the other hand, in GT, Super Saiyan 4 is treated like an almighty leap into another dimensional tier of power. Baby goes from styling on Super Saiyan 3 Goku to transforming not once, but twice, and yet Goku still dominates him. Super Saiyan 4 felt powerful, while Daima 4 feels ultimately like it didn't matter. After Goma's plot armor boosts him again, Goku has to take back over, retaking his monkey form. And while this scene looks gorgeous, his plan ultimately doesn't even work. He fails to defeat Goma, but that's okay. He was just a distraction. Piccolo will take care of the... So Goku just essentially loses the fight. Goma only ends up losing due to dumb luck. Back with GT, Goku himself bests Baby, and like the shriveling coward he is, he runs, only for Goku to send him into the sun. Okay, so we've made it through both Super Saiyan 4 transformations, and the fights they transformed to take on. But what did I mean at the start of the video when I said Daima Super Saiyan 4 could just not happen? Well, I think it's undeniable that in GT, Super Saiyan 4 is an integral part of the plot, tying into the themes and embodying Goku's Saiyan heritage, while also being necessary in general, since Goku needed a massive power-up to win. But in Daima, Goma's power is entirely determined by plot convenience. He just has the magic plot armor eye, making him as powerful as the writers want him to be at any moment. And ultimately, if he can be literally any level they want, then Goku doesn't need to get any stronger for any of this plot to happen. Literally every pretty looking Super Saiyan 4 fight scene here could have just stayed the exact same, but with Goku using Super Saiyan 3 instead of 4. Goku getting an additional form has no bearing on the plot. It's all flash and spectacle with no substance. That's why Daima 4 falls so incredibly flat. A real transformation causes massive waves throughout the plot and have an impact on everything else. but Daima's form has absolutely no impact. Yeah, it looks pretty and has cool moments, but that's not what made Super Saiyan so special. Why would we care about Daima's ripoff form when the original was better in every conceivable way? Why does this all seem so familiar? Super Saiyan Blue? Yep, that's right. Daima is the exact same as Super Saiyan Blue, a completely unnecessary form that happened exclusively to sell toys while being completely unnecessary to the plot. Just like Daima 4 here, Goku didn't need to reach Super Saiyan Blue. If Goku just used Super Saiyan God against Golden Frieza, basically nothing about Super would change. You'd think they would have learned their lesson after Blue, since Ultra Instinct was a lot better. But here we are, making the exact same mistake again. Maybe I'll make a rewrite trying to fix Daima's problems later. I genuinely feel like Daima had an incredibly strong start, only to drop the ball harder than anything before. But unfortunately, that's just how it is. And you know, despite how this video has gone, I don't hate Daima 4. It's ultimately a cool looking form, but that's all it is. There's nothing beyond looking cool. It's such a waste of the coolest looking transformation. Anyways, here's to hoping if we ever get another show, turns out a little bit better. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.